In today's video, we're going to be going over a deck profile, specifically a One Piece deck profile on Marshall D. Teach. This is the black-yellow variant, and we're going to be going over my deck list and my card choices coming up real soon. I'll catch you guys very shortly. What is up, guys? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys yet again another video. Today, we're going to be going over my One Piece deck profile of black-yellow Teach. I've been really enjoying playing this deck for a while. I decided to do my first One Piece deck profile in a while on this deck because I've been looking forward to this ever since it got spoiled in Japan, in the Japanese metagame, and I have actually been testing this list for quite some time. And this is the list that I came down with. For those who are not familiar with One Piece, it's one of the trading card games that I'm actually enjoying right now. It plays a lot like Pokemon in terms of where it's very board based, and the goal is to basically deplete your opponent's life and land the finishing blow. So for this leader specifically, it has two abilities. The first one is during my opponent's turn, all of my characters gain +1 cost, which is essentially their level. And then once per turn during my opponent's turn when they attack, I can discard a card with the trigger icon. Sorry, keep on used to having my camera inverted. With the trigger icon, and then redirect the attack to either my leader or one of my other Blackbeard pirates. So this leader is really good at staying alive because you get to redirect attacks, and paired with the strong blocker that is the 10-drop Marshall D. Teach, you literally your goal is to control the board and then swing with big bodies. While you're doing that, you're just trying to deplete your opponent's resources by either redirecting attacks to other characters that trigger on KO, which has effects like either resting a character or KOing a character, or even triggering them off the damage to do other effects like drawing cards or negating and destroying certain lanes. So this is my current list. I've been playing this list for quite a while, and I'm very comfortable with it. So I'm going to showcase you guys it right now. So please be sure, but before we do that, please make sure that you subscribe if you haven't. Especially if you like One Piece and Pokemon. If you like trading card game content, this is your one-stop shop, because I cover quite a few. I not only cover Pokemon, but I also cover One Piece as well as Vice Schwartz. So please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notification button. We just hit 1,000 subscribers earlier, and I'm still preparing for that video. That's a special video, but I wanted to at least show you guys this deck. So without further ado, let's get on to the deck profile, starting off with your 1 cost. So we're playing 4 copies of the Lafitte Searcher. So what he does is activate main, pay 1 Don, rest 1 of your Dons, rest this character to check the top 5 cards, and add a Blackbeard pirate character, actually a Blackbeard pirate card from your deck, and then put the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. So we play 4 of this because this is our main Searcher and one of our main consistency engines. Your goal with this Lafitte is to keep this alive at least for 2 turns at the early game, and then use him sporadically whenever you need to refill your hand and gain back resources. The benefit of this is he's also a pseudo blocker, because your opponent will want to knock this out in order to prevent you from continuously plussing, and it's fine because you can bring it back with Katarina Devon or just play another one from hand. But our goal with this is to get through our deck as fast as possible in order to get the resources that we need. So I'm going to leave it out there for Lafitte. Next, we play 4 copies of Vasco Shot. So Vasco Shot has the on-KO ability. When this is KO'd, I can choose one of my opponent's characters that is cost 6 or less and rest it. So this is basically your one of your best control cards, because you get to becomes a pseudo blocker with the Teach's effect. So you would redirect it into the Vasco Shot, and then rest one of your other opponent's characters that are cost 6 or less. So that denies them 1 attacker. You can also use this to, when it's on the last attack, redirect it, and then rest their blocker so you can swing in with ease and force your opponent to guard. So it's both a very good offensive card and a really good defensive utility card. We play 4 of it just because you need to see it. Next, we play 4 copies of Doc Q. The reason why I'm playing Doc Q is it has the ability on KO. And the unique thing about the yellow Blackbeard pirate trigger effects is they usually activate their main, which is essentially either you either KO a character, rest a character, and then you also get to draw to replace itself. It replaces itself by drawing, allowing you to draw. So the Vasco shot will allow you to draw and then rest. This one will allow you to draw and knock out 2 cost 1 or less characters on your opponent's board. So this is here for early game, and the reason why we play it as a 4 of is especially against decks like Mihawk that will be playing a lot of one cost characters in order to search their deck, thin their deck out. Especially even blue green Luffy, they will play the cost 1 Luffy, so this helps you knock them out with ease and then gain advantage. Even Anel swings with cost 1 characters, so this helps you answer it and then clear the board, so it denies them potential attackers. And it's also really good throughout the game because if they do play cost 1 characters that they try to do to strategically either search your deck and then have it there, you want to prevent them from essentially not having to rely on that cost 1s as the attacker. You're constantly clearing their board or freezing their board. So that's it for our cost 1s. We don't play cost 2s in this, 2 through 4, 2s and 3s in this deck because there's actually not that many good ones right now. And then moving on to the rest of our deck. So I play 4 copies of this new Katarina Devon. So what this Katarina Devon has is it's a 2k counter, but it also has the ability when attacking, I can choose one of my opponent's characters and copy their the base power of that character. So Katarina's original base power is 3k. So I sometimes will play this if I know my opponent is running beefy beat sticks, and if they can't answer the Devon, I just leave it here sitting. So when they do play their big beat stick, I just swing in with copying that beat stick's power to my opponent's life, so they're forced to either block it or just take it. And it's the same effect as the Bonclay, the 4 cost Bonclay in the purple Bonclay from, I think, blue purple Luffy played it, as well as a bunch of purple decks. So this has the same copy attack power effect. Its trigger ability is I get to draw 1. So when I trigger it as damage, I can discard it to draw 1 and then choose a cost 1 Blackbeard Pirates character in the trash and play it. So this allows me to recur. Mainly you're using this to recur either the Vasco shot or the Lafitte's. So, and the reason why you want to bring back the Lafitte is because it's a good utility card that helps you dig deeper into your deck. So we play 4 Devons. Next, we play 3 copies of the Jesus Burgess or Jesus Burgess. So what this character does is that it has the ability, it cannot be KO'd by opponent's effects. And since if I control Blackbeard Pirates leader, which I do, it has the ability for every 4 cards in my trash, it gains plus 1k. And thanks to this list, you can easily hit have this swing 10k, become a 10k beat stick easily by getting 20 cards into the trash, which is really easy. This deck has had, I've even reached a trash of 24 and 28 where I'm swinging basically 11, 12k, and this is just a win more card because you're leveraging this as one of your beat sticks, and it's the fact that they can't kill it is a benefit to this. I may cut this if since I've been testing it with OP 17, since blue decks will not have an ability will have a character that can bottom deck this. I may consider cutting this down if the decks that can play blue and play the not the Stussy, the Gloriosa more often is gonna be, if it comes into Rampant, then I'll cut this down to make adjustments. But right now I'm just playing 3 right now. I know some lists play 4. In one of my old lists I played it as a 2 of, and I might go back to a 2 of. if there's more answers to this Jesus Burgess than before. So we play 4 of that. And then lastly, for my 4 costs, I play 2 copies of the BB5. It's just a vanilla 2K counter with the trigger ability. If my leader is multicolored, which it is, it's black, yellow, I can draw 2. I can trigger by discarding it and draw 2, which is really nice. And then continuing on with the list, I play 4 copies of the 5 cost Borsellino from EB04. So what this Borsellino does is, if you have 2 or less cards in life, you get to put the top part of your deck into the life zone. So this allows you to essentially stay in the game as long as possible, and it's a blocker. It's just a really broken generic yellow blocker, and if you're playing yellow, you got to play this. I know some decks can go without it, but for a deck like this, Borsellino is just really clutch for the survivability. And then continuing on, we play 4 copies of the 6 cost Shiryu. So what he does is, on play, I can discard a card from my hand and put a Blackbeard Pirates card from my trash with a cost 6, or less. So sometimes I'll either put this back because its trigger ability is discard, draw 2. Oh, I might even bring either put back most likely I'd either put back another Shiryu, the Katarina Devon, or the Vasco shot into the life, so that I can not only heal but take advantage of using their trigger abilities to either disrupt the board or advance or recover my board. Like if I need to recover the Lafitte because it got KO'd and I still needed it, and I'm in during my 6 or 7 dawn turn, and I still need this, I'll play this to put the Devon back into life, so that when it triggers, I could bring back either the Lafitte and then dig through my deck. But I also use it to bring back I even said this will bring back the Vasco shot, so I can use it as another blocker. And it also lets me draw cards, which is really nice. And then continuing on, we play 4 copies of the 8 cost Teach. So what he does is, when he comes into play, I could check the top 3 cards of my deck, choose one of them, and put it to the top of my life. So most of the time, you're either stacking one of your triggers. Your goal is to stack one of your triggers, or if you can, you reveal one of the Teaches. You put it into life, because what his trigger ability is, I can negate one of my opponent's characters and then KO a cost 5 or less character. So sometimes if there's a pesky attacker or blocker, just answer it right away and break their board. So it allows me to, since this deck likes to manipulate life, you can pretty much do that. Next, and our last character, we play 4 copies of the 10 cost Teach. This card is just broken. If you remember from my last Blackbeard deck, I basically played it's basically activate main during the turn it was played. You get to nullify the effect of your opponent's leader, and then lock, aka nullify the effect of your opponent's character, and that character can also not attack. So this is just a really broken 10 cost that allows you to run rough shot on your opponent. Your goal is to get at least 1 or 2 on the board, and then just swing with all your beaters per game. So that's it for the characters, but we have a few more cards left. I just wanted to make room. So overall, right now, I really like this list. It's a really fun deck. Okay, now to the events. So we play 4 copies of the stage Full of Lead. So what Full of Lead does is, you get to discard a card from your hand, check the top 3 cards of your deck, and add a Blackbeard Pirates from among them, and then put the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. So this is our main searcher, and it also one of our other secondary searchers that allows you to thin your deck out, as well as set up your discard pile, your trash, for Burgess. Next, we play 4 copies of My Era Begins. This is also a searcher event that has the effect, check the top 3 cards from my deck, Reveal up to one of the Blackbeard Pirates cards, except this, obviously, and then add it to my hand and trash the rest. So we're playing 12 searchers, and this is just really broken because it sets up it quickly sets up your Jesus Burgess so it can hit for big numbers. And I mainly use this just to dig through my pieces, because you're mainly needing, in most times, a trigger. You need the Zehaha event, or you need the 10 or 8 cost teach. And then other times, most of the time during the game, you're looking for other pieces that fit whatever your current state is. But your main goal most of the time is to secure 1 Zehaha and 1 teach in the early half of the game. Okay, and then speaking of Zehaha, we play 3 copies of Zehaha. So you can only activate this when you have 10 Dawn. I can play up any Martial D teach from my hand, and then my opponent has to add. Then I can have my opponent add up to 1 card from their life to their hand. Mainly, our main target in most situations is going to be for Zehaha, the 10 costs, and then in rare occasions, if I need to, if I'm ahead in life and I don't have to worry that much about my opponent's board, you can fetch the 8 costs, so you can deal free damage and heal, which is really nice. But most of the time, you're using this to cheat out the 10 costs. Its trigger ability is to draw 2, discard 1, and then the trigger ability again with my arrow is just to activate the main, which is really nice. And then lastly, we play 2 copies of Black Rope Dragon Twister. This event is our main form of board removal, so you can only activate this if your opponent controls more characters than you do. You get to kill 1 character. You reveal the top card of your life, then you get to KO 1 character that is cost 6 or less, and then another one that is 5 or less. So this helps you board wipe certain characters. Like, you can board wipe blockers. I've used this to board wipe the Mihawk out of their Mihawk and Odin. So you're using this to basically just either take out blockers or take out beat sticks that might pose a threat to you. So we play 2 copies of that. It's just pretty standard. So that's it for the... Oh yeah, and its trigger ability is draw 2, trash 1. So that's it for the deck. I really enjoyed this deck out of all of the One Piece decks that I own, only because it kind of plays to my playstyle. I really like to play very control oriented. I really like to play also really I really just like the playstyle of this deck, where you bide your time in most situations, mitigating damage, and you're just trying to accrue a massive board where you can just swing for game much smoothly. And I have to say, it lives up to the... It's like just like the Black Teach list, where it's very hard to play. It's a deck that requires a lot of thought, and you can't just like pick up the deck and play it willy-nilly, because it's a really tough deck to play. Like, I'm not lying. Like, Teach is a really tough deck to play. I find myself, like, when I first learned this, I lost most of my games because of how difficult this deck is. Since you're not it's different from the Black Teach, where you get to kind of leverage the general on play negation. So because you don't have that as a crutch, even though that deck is also very difficult to pilot because you have to understand your matchups, this one I feel is just as hard, is because now you have to know your matchups and learn to navigate them, even without the skill drain, like effect. So you're forced to like really know your matchups and know where, like, for example, this deck loses to green a lot, especially Mihawk, and that's because Mihawk can make this deck unable to hit back. Because the issue with this deck is, if it can't swing back at your opponent, you can effectively beat Teach. Like, you have to, like, if you can't if you can pin their board down, this deck literally like crumbles. And what I like about this deck is that it forces me to understand my matchups and how to preserve when to preserve my board and when to just let it go and move on to the next step, which is one of the reasons why I like this deck. It's a very tough deck to play, and you have to be very very careful. And the interesting thing about this Teach list is it's very diverse. Teach black yellow Teach is very diverse. You have so many different ways to build this, and the build that I'm showing you to right now is my way of playing it right now. In fact, as I'm still testing this deck, I've already discovered some new ideas with this list that I may try out in the future. I'm still like mulling it over. So I hope you guys like this list. I will be showcasing my Yamato, my black Yamato list. I also have an update on my Boa Hancock, as well as I want to showcase my Emu deck. But right now I just want to showcase my favorite deck, my most complete one, since I took a break from One Piece for a long time, and now I'm kind of back into it, especially since Black Yellow Teach kind of pushed me back into it. So I'm kind of grinding it and trying to figure out how to play the game again. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Also crack that like button, and I'll catch you guys soon. The next video that I'll be doing is an update to my Ends Zoroark list. I'm going to showcase how Pitch Black, if you're interested in Pokemon, I'm going to showcase to you guys how Pitch Black has made that deck evolve again. And it's not a big one, but a subtle evolution. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. This is Platinum Points signing out. Stay on point, guys, and peace out.